I work as a nurse at this tiny long-term care hospital across town. My name is Genevieve, but it's spelled the French way with extra letters that nobody ever gets right on the first try. I'm used to it. People misspell it all the time on schedules, name tags, whatever. I don't really care that much, but I will correct you until you learn it. I even made up this little trick to help people remember the spelling. So we had this CNA working with us for like 6 months. Her name was Kate, just Kate. Simple, easy, 4 letters. She was the worst. Like genuinely the most annoying person I've ever worked with in healthcare. She wore this white coat like she was some kind of doctor, even though literally no nurses wear those anymore. She'd corner actual nurses and demand we give medications to patients without telling us anything about their condition first. She talked down to families like they were stupid. She berated other CNAs in front of patients. The whole hospital hated her. The only reason she lasted so long was because she worked night shift, which meant she barely saw the supervisors who would have fired her immediately for her attitude. Night shift is like its own little world where certain people think they can get away with anything. One Thursday night, I got stuck working her shift because someone called in sick. I usually work days, so I'd only heard stories about Kate, but now I was actually going to work alongside her. Great. In each patient room, we have these whiteboards where we write our names so patients know who's taking care of them. Usually, the CNA gets to the room first during rounds and writes everyone's names up there. Makes sense, they're in and out faster than nurses. I walked into my first room around 8 p.m. to check on Mrs. Hoffman, and I saw Kate had already written the names on the board, except she spelled my name Genevieve, missing 2 letters. I grabbed the marker and fixed it, no big deal. Happens all the time. Then I saw Kate in the hallway by the medication cart. I walked up to her and said, "Hey, I noticed you spelled my name wrong on the board. I fixed it, but for future reference, it's spelled Genevieve. I know it's confusing." She didn't even look up from her clipboard, just said in this super nasty tone, "I don't have time for that." I stood there for a second, genuinely shocked. Like, you don't have time to spell a coworker's name correctly? The person you're working with for the next 12 hours? It takes 2 extra seconds. I just said, "Okay then," and walked away. But I was annoyed, really annoyed. Here's the thing about Kate's name. It's spelled K-A-T-E. 4 letters. Super simple. But it could also be spelled Kate, or Kate, or Kate, or Catherine shortened, or like 10 other variations. And she had at least twice as many patient rooms as I did because CNAs get more assignments than nurses. So I went into every single room Kate was assigned to that night. All 14 of them. And I changed her name on every single board. In the first room, I wrote Kate. In the second, Kate. In the third, Catherine. I got creative. Kate in room 4. Kate in room 5. I even wrote Caitlin in one room and just crossed out the Lynn part sloppily so it looked like a mistake. The longest version I used was Catherine with the extra A in there. 8 letters instead of 4. I made sure every single spelling was different and wrong. It took me like 40 minutes to hit all her rooms, but it was absolutely worth it. I went back to my own patients and didn't say anything. Around 10 p.m., I saw Kate storming down the hallway looking furious. Her face was red. She walked right up to me and just stared. I looked up from my chart and said, "What's up?" She said through gritted teeth, "Did you change my name on the boards?" I smiled and said, "I don't have time for that." Her jaw dropped. She just stood there for a second, then turned around and walked away without saying a word. I watched her go into each room with a marker and fix every single board herself. Took her almost an hour because she had so many rooms. For the rest of that shift, she didn't talk to me unless it was absolutely necessary for patient care. Just short, clipped sentences. Fine by me. But here's the best part. For the next 3 months before she finally quit, she never spelled my name wrong again. Not once.
When I was 15, my mom became obsessed with the idea that cell phones were melting our brains. She'd read some article about radiation, and suddenly our phones became public enemy number 1. She made this insane rule. Our phones had to sleep in a metal lunchbox in the kitchen every night by 8 p.m. sharp. No exceptions. She even put a little pillow inside and called it the phone bed. The whole thing was ridiculous, but that wasn't even the worst part. Mom installed this app that tracked our screen time and would flash red warnings when we went over 2 hours. My brother Noah just shrugged it off. He was more into his Xbox anyway. But for me, it was torture. I decided if Mom wanted to protect us from radiation, I'd show her what real protection looked like. I started wrapping everything in aluminum foil. Not just my phone, everything electronic in my room, my alarm clock, my calculator, even my desk lamp. When she asked why, I just said, "Better safe than sorry, right, Mom?" But I didn't stop there. I started wearing a foil hat to breakfast. Just a small one at first, like a beanie made of foil. When Mom stared at me, I said, "Did you know breakfast cereals are fortified with iron? That's basically metal in our food. Can't be too careful." The next day, I wrapped my backpack in foil. The day after that, I covered my textbooks. The library uses electronic security tags, I explained innocently. Who knows what kind of radiation those give off? My teachers started giving me weird looks, but I stayed committed. I lined my pockets with foil and insisted on wearing gloves because cell tower signals can penetrate skin. During lunch, I'd unwrap my sandwich from 3 layers of foil, carefully folding each layer while explaining to my friends about signal interference patterns. Mom tried to tell me I was overreacting. That's when I went nuclear. I turned our living room into what I called a radiation-free safe zone. I spent my entire allowance on aluminum foil and covered every wall, the ceiling, even the floor. Took me 6 hours, but the effect was incredible, like being inside a giant baked potato. When Mom came home from work, I was sitting cross-legged in the middle of my foil fortress, wearing a full foil suit, including pants, shirt, and a hood with little antenna. "Welcome to the safe zone," I said. "I finally found peace from all the dangerous waves." She lost it when I suggested we should probably foil wrap our cat too, since his metal collar could be attracting harmful frequencies. Poor Gary, the cat ran away every time he saw me coming with the foil roll after that. The real breaking point came during my mom's book club meeting. These were her fancy friends who drank wine and discussed deep literature, or at least pretended to. I waited until they were all settled in the living room, then made my entrance in full foil gear, pushing a cart of foil hats. "Ladies," I announced, "I couldn't help but notice your phones are unprotected. As Mom has taught me, we must guard against radiation at all costs. I've prepared protective headwear for everyone." I started handing out foil hats like party favors. Mom turned turned bright red as her friends tried not to laugh. I went around the room, explaining the proper way to wear the hats for maximum signal blocking. When one of her friends asked if I was serious, I launched into a detailed explanation about electromagnetic fields that I'd memorized from Wikipedia. The final straw was when I started a radiation awareness club at school. I put up posters covered in foil and handed out foil bracelets. The school counselor called my mom for a meeting after I tried to convince the cafeteria staff to wrap the microwave in foil. That night, Mom finally cracked. She deleted the screen time app and said we could keep our phones in our rooms. "Just please," she begged, "stop with the foil." I agreed, but only after making her sign a contract acknowledging that she was choosing convenience over safety. I still have that contract, written on foil paper, hanging in my room. So yeah, I'm adopted. Got adopted as a baby because my parents couldn't have kids naturally. They tried IVF like 3 times, spent all this money, nothing worked. Then boom, 7 years later, my mom gets pregnant with my sister Princess. And yes, that's her actual name, Princess. You can probably guess how things went after that. Suddenly, I'm just there, and Princess is the miracle child. She got everything. I'm not even exaggerating. If I got one birthday present, she'd get 5 just because. If I wanted to go to the mall, we'd have to take Princess and buy her stuff or she'd throw a fit. My parents would just hand her whatever she wanted to shut her up. I got used to it though. Made friends at school, joined track and debate team, worked summer jobs, anything to not be home. By junior year, I was basically living at school or work. Then I started dating my boyfriend Kyle, and his family actually liked having me around. His mom would make me dinner and ask about my day. It was weird at first, but nice. Princess got worse as she got older, like way worse. When she was 6, she figured out she could do whatever she wanted. She'd break my stuff on purpose, steal money from my wallet, hit other kids at school. My parents never punished her. Once she threw my laptop across the room because I wouldn't let her use it, cracked the whole screen. My parents bought her a tablet that same week. Didn't replace my laptop though. So by senior year, I was barely home. Maybe one day a week, just to sleep and grab clothes. My parents didn't care. They were too busy dealing with Princess's new obsession every other month. First it was Squishmallows, then Sunny Angels, then these ugly Crocs charms. Then came the Labubu phase. These are like these weird tooth fairy looking keychains that cost like $40 each. Princess was obsessed. Had like 30 of them lined up on her shelf. She'd watch YouTube videos about them for hours, made my parents drive to 5 different stores to find specific ones. It was insane. Graduation was coming up and I actually asked my parents to come. I didn't ask for much anymore, but this felt important. I was valedictorian, had a speech, the whole thing. They said they'd be there. My aunt and uncle were coming too, some cousins. I was actually excited. Day of graduation, I'm in my cap and gown, waiting in line with everyone else. Ceremony starts at 2. I'm texting my parents at 1:45 asking where they are. No response. 1:55. Still nothing. They're usually early to everything, so I'm starting to panic. My friend Hannah's like they're probably just running late, but I know something's up. Ceremony starts. We're walking in. I'm looking for them in the crowd. Nothing. We sit down. Principal starts talking. Still no parents. My aunt's there filming on her phone looking confused. We get through like 6 speeches. They start calling names. Still no parents. I walk across that stage, get my diploma, smile for the photographer. My aunt's cheering, but I'm trying not to cry. We do the cap toss. Everyone's hugging and taking pictures. That's when I see them rushing in through the back doors. 2 hours late. I just left. Didn't even go over to them. Got in my car and drove straight to Kyle's house. My phone starts blowing up immediately. Text from my mom like, "Where are you? And we're so sorry and please come back." I ignored all of it. Then my dad calls. I almost don't answer, but I do. He's giving me this whole explanation about how Princess found this super rare Labubu for sale across town. Some collector was selling it for $350. $350 for a keychain. And instead of messaging the person and picking it up literally any other day, they drove an hour away right before my graduation to buy it. I hung up. My mom texts me that they feel terrible and want to make it up to me. She Venmo'd me $100. My graduation gift from them was $150. So now Princess's keychain cost more than what they gave me for graduating high school. I started working at this office last May, and right away, they made it clear they were all about celebrations. Like within my first week, they passed around an envelope for our boss, Julie's birthday, and everyone threw in $20. I barely knew these people, but I put money in because that's what you do, right? Then came Rachel's birthday in June. Flowers on her desk, balloons tied to her chair. Someone brought in this fancy cake from the bakery down the street, and we all sang happy birthday in the break room. Free catered lunch. The whole thing. Same deal for Kevin in July. Same for Angela in September. Every single time I smiled for the group photos and threw money into the collections and sang along. When Angela's dad died in October, I put $30 in the sympathy card fund. For the Christmas party in December, I paid $40 into the potluck and gift exchange. My birthday was March 8th. The week before I mentioned I was turning 26